All right, I think we are rolling. Hi everybody, welcome back to our weekly live stream. My name is Alicia and today we are going to talk about basic verb conjugation in English. This is going to be a very good lesson for beginners. I'm going to talk about how we make simple present tense and simple past tense. So today's lesson is going to be about rules for making the verbs. I'm going to cover just simple statement patterns, and then I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about negative forms and question forms at the last part of today's lesson. So there's a lot to cover. Again, this week I am live from my house, from my living room. So thank you for your understanding. It looks a little different, I know. Today I'll be using, again, these little whiteboards so that I can share the grammar points with you. A couple of announcements. One, there is, if I'm pointing at this banner that's here on the screen, there is a 28% off sale on EnglishClass101.com. If you would like to start studying English with us, that would be super awesome. You can get this deal from the link below the video if you are watching on YouTube, or above the video if you are watching on Instagram. I'm sorry, on Facebook. There's no Instagram today, sorry. But if you're watching on YouTube, it's below the video. If you're watching on Facebook, please look above the video. I see many people on YouTube. That looks great. Hi, everybody. I would say hi to YouTube. I see you all there. Hello, hello, hello. I see a phone. Hello, Fernando. Hi, Eric. Manoj. Hi, Fernando. Lots of people there. Hi, everybody. Now I'll go to Facebook. Facebook, I'm checking you from my phone, so that's why I am looking at it here. Hi, Facebook, I'm loading you up now to make sure everything looks good over there. Also, while I do that, my other announcement, but I'm control desk today too. My other announcement is, again, this week, this is a screenshot from our weekly Q&A series, Ask Alicia. If you have little questions about English grammar, about vocabulary, about idioms, about culture, whatever, if you have little questions, you can send them to me for this series, our weekly question and answer series, and I will maybe answer it. This is a screenshot. I was talking about the difference between especially and specifically. So this one actually, I guess, is a little bit old now, but I think the most recent one is maybe about gerunds, a very, very popular topic among all of you. So please have a look at this. You can find the submission link from EnglishClass101.com/ask-Alicia, or check the Ask Alicia videos on our YouTube channel to find the link there. Alrighty. Facebook, I'm looking for you so that I can say hi to you, and then I will start today's lesson. So again, if you missed it, today I'm going to talk about basic verb conjugation. I think you should see that somewhere on the YouTube video name. Okay, Facebook, you look great. Hi, Facebook. Thanks very much for coming, Facebook friends. Hello, Mohammed, Muana. Hello. You say Alessandro Daniele from Brazil. Hi, Antonio. Hola. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. Okay, everyone is here, so let's get started. I'm going to begin. If you missed it, today I am going to talk about basic verb conjugation. I'm going to start speaking more slowly now, too. Today, I'm going to talk about basic verb conjugation. So conjugation means how we change verbs, how we make the different forms of verbs. So I'm going to talk today about simple present tense and simple past tense. We're going to practice making these verb forms and some very simple sentences with these verb forms. So this is a very good lesson for beginners. I'm going to talk about, one, how we make positive sentences, two, how we make positive sentences with present tense, and then we'll talk about past tense. And then at the end of today's lesson, I'm going to cover negative forms and question forms. So these are the three parts for today's lesson. Okay, let's get into it. First, we are going to talk about Simple present tense. Simple present tense. I will get a little closer so that everybody can see. Last week I heard it's a little small, so I will do my best to share. Okay, so first, a little grammar review. What is simple present tense? Simple present tense, bullet point number 1. This is when we should use simple present tense. I'll go over here. So, when should we use simple present tense? We use simple present tense to share facts. So a fact is information that is always true. So some examples. I speak English. You speak English. I can see you in the chat. Or she sings well. So these are simple facts. Like the information is always true. It's just general information that does not change. Point 2. We use simple present tense to describe regular schedules. So, for example, something that happens every week, or every month, or every year, or at a specific time every day. So, for example, class starts at 11, or he always arrives at 2. So these are examples of regular schedules, things that are just like every day. They happen at the same time or every week. So these are the 2 times that we use this grammar point, simple present tense. So let's talk about this point here, how to make simple present tense. What are the rules for changing our verbs, for conjugating the verbs? We need to think about the subject. So the subject of a sentence is, for example, in these sentences, the person doing something, the person acting. So for example, in I speak English, the subject is I. Or in she sings well, the subject is she. So what's important, really important, to change this verb, to conjugate this verb, is the subject of the sentence. So, if the subject is I, or you, or we, or they, there is no change to your verb. So, you can see here, I speak English. Speak is the basic form of the verb. Like, when I say basic form of the verb, I mean the dictionary form of the verb. So, this does not change. So, when you use one of these, I, you, we, or they, as your subject, no change. For example, some more examples, I eat, or you talk, or we work, or they run. So these are all the basic forms of the verb. We don't have to change them. If, however, the subject is he, or she, or it, add S. So hard to see. This is an S. Add S to the end of your verb. So I say add S here because when you're speaking, this is pretty easy, yeah? Like just to make an S sound at the end of your verb. For example, he eats, or she talks, or it works, or he runs. So this is good to do. Like, we don't have to think about, of course, spelling when we're speaking. But it is important to remember some spelling rules when you are writing. So let's review our spelling rules for this point, if your subject is he, she, or it. So, first, for a verb ending in Y, the letter Y, we need to spell the S sound with I-E-S. I-E-S. For example, try becomes tries, or copy becomes copies. So in both of these, the sound doesn't change. Sometimes I hear learners use like he tries or tries or something like that. So the verb, the sound try stays the same, and we add an S sound to it. So what did I say? He just tries or copies. So you don't need to change the sound of the base verb. Just add an S to that. Okay, so this is for a verb ending in Y, but if there is a vowel before the Y, you don't need to worry about this. So what is an example of that? Let's see. So let's use a verb like play. A verb like play, the spelling, I'll write this way. The spelling of play is P-L-A-Y. Yeah? P-L-A-Y. So if there is a vowel before Y, in this case play, there's a vowel here before the Y, we do not follow this spelling rule. We just add S. So there's nothing special here. So it becomes plays, he plays, she plays. So this is one spelling rule for this point. Verbs ending in CH, SH, SS, or X. I'm looking at this point right here now, yeah? So for a verb ending in these endings, ch, sh, s, or x, we need to add es, es. So for example, watch becomes watches, or push becomes pushes, pass becomes passes, relax becomes relaxes. So we need to add es. I forgot my es there. So we need to add es. Oh, that's an ugly e, sorry. Es for verbs, that's an even uglier e. So we need to add an es. It's hard to write on this. We need to add es for verbs with this ending. So please keep these spelling rules in mind. Again, we do not pronounce this e. Watches, I don't know. We do not pronounce this e here. It's just a sound. Watches, passes, pushes, relaxes. Okay, so these are our rules. I will put it here, so maybe you can take a screenshot if you want. Okay, so these are our rules for making simple present tense verbs. How to make simple present tense verbs. So again, these are for positive sentences, for statements. I'm going to talk about negative statements and question statements later. All right, great. Wow, there are lots of people watching. Hi, everybody watching. That's super cool. Okay, so I'll take one short break. I will check your questions in the chat. Some nice example sentences are coming. Yes, please send your example sentences in the chat. I will try to check live. Kanmaljit, hello again, on YouTube says, I don't like her because she always makes excuses. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Someone says, oh, I thought you should change the Y to IES when you are making plural. Plural spelling changes are a little bit different from today's topic. But yes, there absolutely is the Y to IES change, like candy becomes candies. Yes, so that the Y spelling rule also comes in there. Other points. Can you please answer my first question? I don't see your first question. I can't see all the questions. I'm looking at two chats. On Facebook, do I see any questions on Facebook? Where can I see your videos? You can see our videos on English Class 101 YouTube channel and or Facebook page. You can watch all of the videos that we have available, or you can find us at EnglishClass101.com from where we have all of our courses. Okay, I don't see other questions, so I will share one more reminder. If you missed it, there is this banner on screen here, this 28% off now banner, woohoo. Our team has there's a special bonus, a special sale going on now for our English courses at EnglishClass101.com. You can find the link for this below the video if you are watching on YouTube, or above the video if you are watching on Facebook, to get 28% off. I believe this is premium and premium plus level course plans. So please take a look at that if you would like to start studying with us. Okay, Henry Carrillo says, what about lie? So we can use the same rule here, yeah? The verb lie, here. We have one more verb, lie, L-I-E, here, yeah? But this one, follows just the basic rule. Just add S to the end of it. He, my red marker is not doing good today. Sorry. He lies. L-I-E-S. L-I-E-S. He lies. She lies. All right, great. Good. Okay, it sounds like we have present tense. Good. Please make a video about subject-object questions. What do you mean, subject and object questions? I'm not sure what that means. Okay, let's continue to part 2. If you have not already, please make sure to like and share this video so other people can find today's lesson. Let us continue. Part 2 today. Part 2 is about simple past tense. Simple past tense. So, again, let's review when we use simple past tense. Here's my face. Simple past tense. Sorry, guys. Simple past tense. When should we use simple past tense? Right here. Use simple past tense for actions that started and ended in the past. Actions that started and ended in the past. So, for example, I spoke English, or she sang well, or class started at 11, or he arrived at 2. So these are all simple past tense statements. Something started. For example, with this sentence, I spoke English. It's like in my conversation yesterday, I spoke English, or I spoke Chinese, or whatever. Or she sang well, so at some past performance. Or class started at 11. So again, a past situation. He arrived at 2. Again, past situation. So these are examples of actions that started and ended in the past. I see someone is putting lots and lots of things. Ra FD, could you please just send that question to me on Ask Alicia? That would be great, so that we can use the chat for questions about today's topic. So how do we make simple past tense? This one is a little tricky. So simple present tense, we had some pretty solid rules to follow, yeah? So to make simple past tense, we have 2 groups of verbs to consider. Regular verbs. If the verb is a regular verb, add ed to the ending of the verb. For example, talk becomes talked. Work becomes worked. Watch becomes watched, and push becomes pushed. So you'll notice too, I'm not talking about the pronunciations of these points. There is a video on the English Class 101 YouTube channel about the pronunciation. There are 3 different pronunciations for these. Today I'm not going to talk about that, but if you want to practice this, please check the video on the channel, simple past tense verb pronunciation. So like talked and worked and pushed, they have a t or a d ending sound. Okay, so this is group 1, add ed, and a small point here is just add d if the verb ends in e. So if the verb finishes, like if the verb is like, for example, you don't need to write like ed, like ed. Please just write liked, liked. Okay, then part 2, I have a little smiley face here to encourage you. This irregular verbs. So irregular, this is a prefix, irregular means not regular. So the opposite of regular verbs, yeah? An irregular verb. For irregular verbs, we have to study. There's no easy spelling rule for irregular verbs, unfortunately. This is one thing we just have to practice in English. But because we get lots of practice with reading and with listening and so on, we can remember these, of course, through study and just through using the language. So some very common examples that I think you know about are eat, which becomes ate, or ran, which becomes, or sorry, run, which becomes ran. Try becomes tried. Copy becomes copied. So you'll notice here Yes, I have an ed ending, but we have to think about this y spelling again. So please keep this in mind again, too. Same thing here with this try. Okay? So please keep this in mind. Okay, so please remember that, yes, we do add these ed endings for these. So I put this here just like for like a spelling note. Someone saying like, that's not irregular. So I've put this here just like as a spelling note. So please keep in mind there are different spellings that we need to consider. Okay, so we're going to practice some more down here. So past tense verbs. I've put this note here because I noticed that there are some people that kind of mix up present tense and past tense. So past tense verbs do not change with the subject. So for example, like when I talked about simple present tense, I mentioned the subject is important to the verb conjugation. In this case, though, we don't need to change the verb like to match the subject. So for example, here, like on my first one, I had he runs as a simple present tense expression, but he ran in past tense. So sometimes I see learners put like a he rans, which is not correct. So there's no S sound here if your subject is he or she or it. So he runs becomes he ran, or she speaks becomes she spoke. So again, no S sound here. She spokes is incorrect. So no change to the verb, just make it simple past. It works. So again, a present tense sentence. It worked. No S sound there. And finally, he tries, just he tried. He tried. So again, we do not need to add S to verbs in simple past tense. So please be aware of that. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes I see people put S at the end of a simple past tense verb, but we do not do that. That's incorrect for simple past tense expressions. Please use S for simple present tense. Alrighty. Sam says, what about cut? Yes, cut is another example of an irregular verb. The verb cut in past tense is cut. So the same thing with put. I think someone in the chat wrote put earlier. Put is the same in present tense and in past tense. So I know the question is often like, how do we know? How do we know? Is it simple past tense? Is it present tense? We have to check the context, the situation. We know from the situation. So if, for example, to use the verb cut, like I cut myself, is that a present tense sentence? Like we have to think about that. Present tense, remember we use present tense for, review. Present tense is used for facts. And for schedule, like regular schedules, things we do every week. So like a present tense sentence that is, I cut myself means like that's something I do regularly. Like maybe I'm in the kitchen. I don't know. That's a very strange situation. Probably not true for most people. I don't know. But I'm probably telling a story like, oh, I was in the kitchen last night and I cut myself. Oh no. We understand from the context, from the conversation, if it's present tense or past tense. Could you show again the table of past tense? Yes, sure. I will put this up. Sorry, yeah, I forgot to let you guys take a look at this. But again, some of you recently requested a list of regular and irregular verbs. Just Google this. You can Google these and study. So again, this part, the irregular verbs part, I've got a couple here that change completely. And then these two I've included for the spelling note. So these do use ed, but please note that the spelling does change. Okay, let's see. Someone says, what about putted? No, putted, the past tense of put is put. It is the same word, All right, in our university for past perfect tense, we say an action happened. If you have a question that's different from today's topic, please send that to the Ask Alicia series. That would be awesome. Jonathan says, I've seen learned and learnt for learn are both correct. Great question. Which one is more used? So the question is about the verb learn. Oh man, my pens are kind of dying. Is about the verb learn. Yeah. So the answer, the past tense of learn, learn. Some people say it's learned or it's learnt. The difference here comes from the place where the speaker is from. So, to make it clear for everybody, learned. Is it learned? Is it learnt? What is it? Learned, we use learned in American English, so I will always use learned. To me, that sounds much more, or that looks much more common, and the pronunciation to me sounds like learned. However, for British English speakers, and I think for Australian English speakers also, they say learnt, learnt. So both are correct, but for you, please make sure, like, it's best generally to choose a style of English and use that, the same style. All right, good. Thanks, guys, for your questions. Lies or lays says life changer. Both. They are two separate verbs. To lie and to lay are separate verbs. That is a whole other topic. I have talked about that in Ask Alicia. I'm like 100% sure, so check that out there. Okay, let's take one more quick break and then we'll talk about negative forms and question forms. Okay. So if you missed it, there is a 28% off sale on our courses at EnglishClass101.com. You can get this from the link below the video if you are watching on YouTube, or above the video if you are watching on Facebook. It is for access to our courses. You can find your level, the level that is best for you, and yeah, choose the plan that is right for you too. But there is a sale on now, so check the link in the description to do that. All right, we have just a few more minutes left. Remote control desk. Am I allowed to have a couple? I think I should finish on time. We'll see. Anyway, let's go to the last part. And if you have not already, please make sure to like and share this video so other people can find today's lesson. All right, let's go to negative forms. Negative forms. Uh-oh, that's not good. Okay, let's go to negative forms. Negative forms and question forms. Our last topic for today. Please speak like an American for 1 minute. I am. So let's go to negative forms. Negative forms. So this means we're going to talk about like our not sentences. So we have simple present to talk about and simple past tense to talk about. So how do we make these? Let's look at simple present tense first. Remember, in simple present tense, we need to think about the subject of our sentence, yeah? So, if the subject is I, you, we, or they, we use do not, or the contracted form. So, contracted means short, this reduced form, don't, plus verb. If the subject is he, she, or it, we use does not. Or the reduced form is doesn't plus our verb. So, for example, I don't speak English. Or he doesn't sing well. Oh no. Or class does not start at 11. So we use these patterns to make a negative in simple present tense. Now, let's compare this. I'm checking your comments. Let's compare this to simple past. To make a negative in simple past, we use our subject plus did not or didn't and verb. So for example, I did not speak English, or she did not cook well. So these I want to mention a very common mistake I see with this grammar point right here. Lots of learners use this part, that's good, and did not or didn't, which is great. But many learners conjugate this verb. They use the past tense form of the verb right here. Do not change this verb. So for example, the mistake I commonly hear, let's use the verb speak. Like when I was a child, I did not speak Chinese. So that's a correct sentence. The mistake that I often hear is I did not spoke Chinese. That is not correct. So when you are using the negative form of a simple past, a negative, when you're making a negative simple past sentence, do not change this verb. This should be the basic dictionary form of the verb. Okay, I'm checking your comments about this part right here, the negative form. And then we'll go on to the last point. My mom does not make dinner. Okay, great. Okay, I don't speak Turkish. Yes, good, nice negative sentences. On Facebook, Alfredo says, I didn't know about English 101 last year. Very nice, okay. Hi, hello to everyone saying hello. Oh, Sam says, I've heard some Americans saying she don't. I know it's wrong. Yes, there are some styles of speaking around the world where the grammar does change a little bit. So it depends a bit on the community and the place. So like a small place in America might speak a bit differently. They might use different words or slightly different grammar depending on the community. So this is the standard American English. In negative form, sometimes people say I ain't. So I'm asking, what does it mean? Is it an abbreviation? Oh, I ain't. Yes, this is a very casual one. I'll put this here. Why are my markers dying? I ain't. So ain't. I ain't. What is this? I ain't. I ain't is a very casual way, a very rough way in some groups of people to say I'm not. Or it can also, it can be used to mean a couple different things depending on the situation. But I ain't means I am not something generally. I ain't generally means I am not. And of course we can change the subject. So like he ain't would be he is not. I don't use ain't personally. This depends. Some speakers use this, but that's what this means. I do not use this personally. It feels strange to me to use it because this sounds like a kind of rough word to me. Okay, time's going quick, so let's continue to question forms. Question forms. So when I say question forms, I mean how do we use these two grammar points to make a question? So, simple present tense. To make a simple present tense question, again, we need to consider our subject. So if the subject is I, you, we, or they, we have this pattern. If the subject is he, she, or it, we have this pattern. So here we're using our helping verbs, do and does. So we can begin our question with a WH question. So WHQ means those questions that start with WH. For example, who, what, where, when, those start with WH. And then we can add do. So I put this in parentheses because it's okay to make a question like this. Do I, do you, do we, they, verb. That's fine. That's one pattern. Or what do, subject, verb. So this is a very, I think, easy to use pattern that you can practice, maybe for your homework, to practice making simple present tense questions. And same thing here. We can add a WH question here. And then before our subject with he or she or it patterns, we use does. So what does he do, for for example, or where does she live, and so on. Again, when you are making a simple present tense question, the verb does not change. So when we made statements, we added S to the verb in these patterns. He lives, she sings, and so on. In the question pattern, no change to the verb. Some nice examples are coming in. That's cool. What do you want to do? Good one. Why does she do that? Good. When do you do it? Okay, what do you need? Very interesting questions coming in. On Facebook, why do you laugh? Good. I laugh because I'm having a good time. Other examples. Where does he go? What does she live? Maybe where does she live? Okay. How can I send messages to you? In the chat. Perfect. Okay, let's go to the last point because I am late as usual. Simple past tense. How do we make questions with simple past tense? This is a really good one for you to practice for conversation skill building. This is a good one because many times students are like learners, they wait for me to ask the question, and you need to practice asking the question. So here's some more homework for you. Simple past tense question making. Again, we have a WH question, who, what, where, when, why, plus did, plus subject, plus verb. So this is nice, right? We don't have to think about this part, I, you, we, they. We don't have to think about the subject with a simple past question. So like, where did he go? Or who did she see? Or what did they eat? This one is a very, I think, easy to use pattern. And you can just drop in the different parts of the sentence. The key here is did. So in present tense, we used do and does. Past tense, we're going to use did. Note. Again, no verb changes in negative or question forms, yeah? So again, where did he went or something? Sometimes I hear, you're thinking about simple past, which is great, a simple past statement, but when you make a question, do not change this verb. Where did he went? No. Where did he go? So please keep this in mind. So this, I think, is some nice homework for you this week. There's some good questions. Oh, here, if you want to take a screenshot. Okay. So that is the last point for today's lesson. I will look at the chat. Wow, look at all the chat comments on YouTube. How did she do that? Good question. Did you decide to stay at home? Good. Why did you lie? It's really funny to read your questions. It's like you're asking me all of these random questions right now. On Facebook, did you know me? Oh, interesting question. Where did she go? Good. Where did you go yesterday? Good. What did you do yesterday at night? Yesterday at night, make that shorter. That was Floor. Hi, Floor on Facebook. What did you do last night? What did you do last night? Okay, good question. Some gossip. When did the coronavirus start? Ooh, I wonder. Okay. Where were you yesterday? Very nice. Very nice. Learn with Trishan on YouTube says, what is the contracted form of what did you? What did you? So lots of you are practicing what did you, blah, blah, blah. There's no official reduced form. And when I say official, I mean a spelling we use. So when we're speaking though, it sounds like what did you? What, or it's even more reduced, it sounds like what'd you in American English. What'd you do last night? What'd you do for the weekend? Over the weekend. So what'd you is what it sounds like in everyday speech. What'd you do last night? Oh, that was a lot. That was good though. That was fun. So that is our time for today. I am late as usual. So I will say goodbye. It is time for me to go, but I will be back next week. What is my topic for next week? That's probably a good question. Next week, I will be back as usual. I will probably, again, be live from my home as I am today. So thank you again for your understanding. Next week, I forgot what topic I chose for next week, so I am looking for it. Oh, the time. Many of you have asked me about the time. The time for this lesson is 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is New York City time. So please check that. That is Wednesday night. I lost my tracker. Anyway, I will announce this on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. I think that I said that I was going to talk about the difference between has and something else. Anyway, I won't make you wait for me. So please have a look. Just keep an eye on our YouTube and Facebook pages and all that good stuff. We'll talk about it. You can set a notification on YouTube or on Facebook so that you don't miss next week's lesson. So it will be another 30 minutes or so. And again, for all of your little questions, please just send those to me at the Ask Alicia link. Those little questions, those are perfect for that series. So I'll say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining me again this week. Thank you very much for liking and sharing the video and for sending along all of your fantastic questions. Be well, stay safe out there, and I will see you again soon. Bye.